Reporting of command post.
Welcome to my very first cast of round 3 of the Star-Crossed Cup.
Grenadier are on the line.
This game is going to be our #1 seed, Jesulin, up against Theodosios. Up until this point, Jesulin hasn't had a particularly scary opponent. No offense, of course, to the competitors that have faced him so far. They certainly did their best, but he's our #1 seed for a reason, and we're going to see if Theodosios, our #9 seed, can give him a run for his money. Up until now, Theodosios actually beat the #8 seed, Mirage FLA, so he came out ahead in that matchup, and if he wins this, it'll be the very first really major upset of the tournament. In this particular game, we have Oberkommando West against Soviets, Theodosios bringing guard motor coordination, shock rifle, and guard rifle combined arms, as he has all the way through the tournament. Very same loadout. We still haven't seen him actually use this commander. I'd be pretty surprised to see him break it out now on Langerskaya, but I don't know, it could happen. Jesulin going with Luftwaffe ground forces, breakthrough, and scavenge doctrine. Scavenge doesn't seem that great to me on Langerskaya because there's not that many buildings, and it's really a buildings commander because the Jaegers pop out of buildings and you use infiltration tactics to destroy buildings. The Austrian's nice, and the howitzer barrage is okay. Also salvaging obviously is a pretty nice bonus as well. So I would be kind of surprised to see salvage on this map, but it's not bad, it's just not as really good as it is on other maps. He doesn't have fortifications equipped, which is important to note, and machine guns are so good on Langerskaya, so Luftwaffe ground forces have pretty decent chances of that. And I guess we could see breakthrough. I mean, I don't really think breakthrough's a great commander for OKW, by comparison to the others anyway, but the Jagdtiger certainly is nice on this map. The other features just aren't that impressive, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what Jesulin decides to do. To be honest, I'm not that familiar with his Oberkommando West play. And the game's opening up the way it generally tends to, kind of splitting in half vertically. North player taking the right side, south player taking the left side. Small engagement happening over here on the left side between these Volksgrenadiers and conscripts. Volksgrenadiers actually doing pretty well considering. Wow, I can't believe those conscripts just retreated. That was kind of premature. He was probably going to win that engagement, but I guess he didn't want to take any more manpower bleed than he had to. Regardless, I think these combat engineers will probably be sufficient to push those Volksgrenadiers away. Yep, there they go. And meanwhile, standbag fighting position has been constructed here so that he can engage relatively safely from across the road. Since 2 of these Volksgrenadiers have already died, the conscripts should be able to pull ahead and win that engagement eventually, but support will obviously arrive from somewhere. And it's going to come down to whether the Soviet player can comfortably cross the road. We do see Tier 1 from Theodosios here, which is
This territory is ours.
a risky play, but we can tell that Jesulin isn't that prepared for it. He immediately retreats as soon as the flamethrower car charges him. It looks like he should be able to get home without taking any losses, and Jesulin has already started tacking up to Tier 3. As soon as he sees that thing, he's obviously going to go for the flak half-track. The way he's positioned it is actually going to protect the M3 from this flak defense over here. And there it goes. A full squad does get wiped. M3 is going to get taken out, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm not sure. It's going to be close. Oh no. Oh, that was so close.
Aufgepasst. The command vehicle has converted to a static building.
So, I don't know. Jesulin lost a full squad of Volksgrenadiers there, but he's also clearly countering what his opponent is doing. He's gotten himself the mechanized regiment headquarters here. He's going to throw out the flak half track probably as soon as he's got the the manpower for it. And Theodosios did lose his M3, so yes, Jesulin took a significant amount of manpower bleed and losses there, losing that full squad. The M3 itself costs only 190 manpower, so I would say Theodosios pulled ahead. But as far as map control, Jesulin seems to kind of be in the lead a little bit. He's harassing the left side fuel over here. He's also cut Theo off from the right side. So nice play by Theo, but he's going to need to capitalize on that early advantage, and he also needs to adapt well to the fact that he knows that this tech structure has been completed. So we're going to see what he decides to do. Jesulin's flak half-track is about to complete over here, and he has gone guards, and those are pretty much going to be his only defense against this thing for now, because tier 1 just doesn't have a counter to that. He's going to have to make good use of guards and potentially also AT grenades to take that thing out, which he has not researched yet, but he does have field infirmary. Black half-track making its way up the right side, going in on these conscripts.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector. I'm hit! Engineers, under fire! Aim fire on this position!
Combat engineers forced to retreat. Was that a shoe mine? I guess that was a shoe mine. Apparently it detonated as those combat engineers ran across it and did nothing. It's kind of weird. Utilizing attack ground to try to fire through the hedges. Meanwhile, Stern Pioneers taking quite a bit of damage. Despite their position in this house, they're probably going to need to back off and retreat soon if he doesn't want to take any manpower bleed. Models are going to start dying very, very soon. Black half-track trying to fire through the hedges, but it doesn't really look like it's working. Now the hedges have been destroyed, that situation may change. It's just barely out of range for him to hit those conscripts. The Stern Pioneers do vacate the house and get away after taking only one loss, and it looks like Jesulin is making his way out of his base and is going to construct his tier 4, maybe? Yeah, his tier 4. As soon as he has the 80 fuel. Again, his map control has been very good. 21 fuel coming in. He doesn't have fuel transfer activated, he just has a lot of territory. Holding, I guess, pretty close to just his having the map. Flak half-track is getting swarmed now by conscripts. He's trying to get it to safety. And it doesn't look like those conscripts are going to be able to close the distance. This Volksgrenadier squad, however, should probably retreat since it has a bunch of conscripts in its retreat path. Down to one man. Black half-track should be able to screen its retreat, though. Meanwhile, Volksgrenadiers in the house taking heavy damage from this flamethrower. The flamethrower will actually retreat as they have fallen too low to continue engaging safely. Black half-track didn't even take any damage there, and Jesulin actually makes use of the medical supply box from his Stern Pioneers, which we don't see very frequently. We really don't. It's good to see that ability actually get used. He must be feeling very comfortable in his current map control situation, because that's not cheap. It's 40 munitions, but he does still have 120 to spare, and he also has purchased one Panzerschreck. So if he wants to get a second Panzerschreck, he can, but he hasn't done so yet, just keeping his munitions in the bank for now.
The enemy has cut off a sector. Engineer standing by. Fresh meat has arrived. Supplies to the enemy.
Conscripts engaging over here on the left side.
A sector has been cut off.
Stern Pioneers forcing the conscripts to run away. Meanwhile, over here on the right side, Jesulin has gone breakthrough tactics and fielded Panzer Fusiliers and gotten himself G43s. So Not a bad idea, honestly, when you go with the flak half-track, because your oversoldaten are delayed, and that can help you bridge the gap a little bit, but of course it leaves you with the slightly weaker anti-tank presence, because you have to spend all the munitions on G43s rather than on your next Panzerschreck. Meanwhile, Theodosios has gone guard motor coordination, and I'm wondering if Jesulin chose breakthrough just for the G43s, thinking that they would be a good counter to guards, where a flak half-track may not be quite as reliable against them. BTRS snipes one of the Volksgrenadiers on approach, and the squad will simply retreat. Volksgrenadiers near a collapsing house, also being forced to retreat, and a heavy mortar hasn't inflicted any losses yet, Jesulin being careful to stay clear, and it looks like his G43s are also retreating from the right side. He's going to heal those up and try to utilize them to push across to the left. Jesulin's map control continues to be extremely good, and he continues to be the aggressor here. Theodosios has barely managed to even make slight attacks on the cutoff or the various strategic points on the right side, basically just trying to defend his own territory, which is not really the situation you want to be in against Oberkommando West, but it's not that bad for Soviets. You don't have to be super aggressive against OKW, because even though their late game is so strong, with guard motor coordination you've got a pretty strong mid/late game as well, and once the T-34s arrive, that's when the game starts to become a lot more decisive. Up until that point, it's really more about vying for resources, and on Lamberskaya, it's really very difficult to have a particularly dominating presence on the map. G43 is engaging a minesweeper. A heavy mortar is falling in the area, though. They're a little bit clumped up. Spreading out now. Finishes taking control of the victory point. Volksgrenadiers making their way down here. Will suppress the conscripts and force them to retreat. The flak half-track so far hasn't done too much. It's inflicted 6 casualties, but not even really vet 1 yet, and it has taken a little bit of damage from guards, so Jesulin has to be careful with it. He can't do anything too scary, but at the same time it is very difficult for any of the Soviet infantry to cross this road while the flak half-track is still alive and protecting. And the heavy mortar still hasn't landed a good shot on any squads. We will see a flank by the minesweeper over here across the bottom right. We've also got some mines planted there, probably elsewhere as well. Yeah, here's some more. So Theodosios trying to protect his half of the map with some defenses. Oversoldaten have a pretty decent chance of hitting that mine right there. I think they're spread out enough that you won't lose the whole squad, but it'll still hurt. Oh, takes a different route. Maybe trying to apply some pressure to the heavy mortar. There's not actually a whole lot here to protect it, but I don't know if that single squad of ogres will be enough. And the flak half-track is actually mobilizing to make an attack across the left side as well. Jesulin has fielded 1 squad of Oversoldaten. He's got a bit of manpower flow now. If he wanted another one, he could get one. Hasn't purchased it yet, though, so I think he may be thinking he just doesn't quite know what he wants yet. A 2nd squad of Oversoldaten would probably be merited against what he's up against, but it is a lot of bleed if the heavy mortar starts getting good shots off on you. He's still hovering in this area, probing. That heavy mortar is probably going to be forced to retreat very soon. Stern Pioneers and G43s engaging conscripts in the center. Will prompt a retreat there. Volksgrenadiers up here throwing a grenade. Nicely dodged. There's a lot of engagements going on this map, so pretty impressive to have that grenade get dodged. Meanwhile, another engagement happening over here between this minesweeper and these Volksgrenadiers. The conscripts will force that squad to retreat, and the flak half-track is moving up to push them away from that fuel, and it looks like neither of them is going to have a fuel point for a while. This one will probably be protected by the flak, and this one is going to take a while to recapture from those minesweepers. It's a pretty impressive fuel cutting off of fuel by both players here, but it looks like Jesulin's the one who's going to come out ahead since he's going to have this one back under control Well, maybe not. The flak half-track doesn't feel comfortable getting close to those conscripts, especially unsupported. So they're both going to restore their fuel. And the overs actually didn't go in that hard on those on that heavy mortar. I was expecting them to force it to retreat at least, but apparently they got pushed away. Fortunately, Jesulin took no losses. He's just going to have to heal up some damage that he took, and we do see battle group headquarters here, so he has access to healing. So he went tier 4, 1 squad of Obersoldaten, and then back to tier 2. So he has all 3 tech structures available to him now and 140 fuel, so if he feels the need for a tank destroyer, he could go Jagdpanzer. If he wants to wait for Panther, he can do that. And if he really wants to wait for King Tiger, that's also an option, and he's got such good map control that, that's a pretty real possibility this game. But we'll see what he decides to do. King Tiger isn't necessarily the greatest idea against guard motor coordination, so probably not all that likely, and he's going to need to start fielding a little bit more anti-tank soon, since Theodosios is at 8 command points and he'll be at 10 within the next couple minutes. And he's already got the resources for the T-34 call-in. Jesulin currently working with only 2 Panzerschrecks as far as anti-tank, and I don't think he's laid very many mines either, so he's probably going to need to get a Raketenwerfer, and if he can get a Panther out, that would be even better.
Establish our supply lines. The new men have arrived. Awaiting orders.
Reinforcing here, Stern Pioneers are up to Vet 2. Flak half-track is still alive. Things still slowly evolving. The Panther is in production. The T-34s will be here in 1 command point, it looks like. It's gonna be one of those games. Nothing too decisive is going to happen until the cavalry arrives. They're still just kind of lightly probing, lightly harassing, neither one of them committing particularly to a big push. That heavy mortar just has not given him a return on investment at all. It still only has 1 kill. Jesulin's forces are just too mobile. They never seem to hold all that still. And even when they are holding still, the mortars have just been off target. Wow, he retreated that squad so early. T-34s are here. Panther will be on the field as well, arriving almost at the exact same time. If those T-34s catch that flak half-track out of position, though, it's probably going to go down regardless of what that Panther does. It's driving straight over there, though. Guards are going in on that flak half-track. Takes a huge hit from the T-34s. It gets 1 second. T-34 will take it out completely. There was really no way of saving that flak half-track. It was just way too out of position. There was nothing he could do. Panther takes a lot of damage from frontal penetrations from those T-34s, but they don't commit to a push. Surprisingly, I honestly would have gone in hard on that. Panther's practically dead. If Theodosios had capitalized on his kind of lucky volley right there, I mean, that's probably one of the most vulnerable situations that Panther is going to be in this entire game. And if you can capitalize on the shock value of your tanks hitting the field, you totally should. Maybe he didn't have the munitions for marked vehicle, or maybe he just didn't feel comfortable committing. Not entirely sure what was over here defending, but to be honest, it wasn't much. It was not much. It's just 2 Panzerschrecks and the Panther itself as far as anti-tank and nothing else. I think those 2 T-34s had a real window of opportunity there.
Our T-34s have been outfitted with 85mm guns. We will follow their tracks to victory.
And Jesulin is not fielding any more anti-tank yet. I guess he's comfortable with just his 2 Panzerschrecks and Panther. It's not very much to take on these 2 T-34s, but I mean, it can get the job done, especially if he can just vet everything up. He's probably going to want to get that 3rd Panzerschreck up eventually. Hasn't purchased it yet, though. Yes, he has. Okay. There it is. Wow, nice usage of attack ground. That connected beautifully through the hedge. The last thing you want to do as Soviets is just dance back and forth with the Panther over the course of the game, because now it's halfway to Vet 1. Once it hits Vet 2, it becomes a lot scarier. It's already scary as soon as it hits the field. Once it hits Vet 2, though, it can become virtually unkillable in the hands of a skilled player, so you really don't want to just kind of take shots at it back and forth. You want to commit to an engagement and destroy it. If you can trade for it, then that's good, because it's going to get a lot stronger over the course of the game than your tanks are. Ooh. Finally, the heavy mortar actually hit something. It's got 4 kills now. C-34 making a push for the center while the Panther is occupied here in the north. He needs to be quite careful with it, because we do know that there are mines here protecting from overly aggressive tank pushes. And Jesulin does not have a minesweeper yet. Jesulin tends to simply defend with his Panther rather than making aggressive pushes to try to seal the deal on a T-34, which makes sense because he really needs to just kind of hang back and vet up his tank for now and wait for his next vehicle to arrive. He's currently at 100 fuel, not entirely sure what vehicle he's going to go for next. After the Panther, the OKW options really open up. Even a Sturm Tiger can make sense, a second Panther, a King Tiger, whatever. Anything, really. You have a lot of options after your Panther hits the field to give you that basic medium tank. OKW's medium tank takes the longest to get to the field, so it can be tough to get there, but once it arrives, you have a lot of options.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Guards button, the Panther at maximum range should be able to get clear of that relatively easily. So, ooh, huge hit from the T-34s right there. Not sure that Volksgrenadier squad's gonna get away. They do round the corner, they should be okay. The Panzer Fusiliers getting pushed around by the Panther. Panther trying to go in, vet up a little more. Very close to Vet 1 now. Meanwhile, over here, Obersoldaten are chewing those guards up, and they're going to be forced to make a retreat. A little bit of harassment happening over there as well by those combat engineers. Sturm Pioneers will retreat to try to repair the Panther, which is completely disengaging, and I don't think any full squads were lost on either side. Both of them still playing very carefully. Neither one of them committing to an engagement, and that kind of works in Jesulin's favor. The longer this game goes, the more scary his army is going to get. And his Obersoldaten are vetting up rather quickly. This squad's already Vet 3. This one will be Vet 2 quite soon. So the manpower bleed that they're inflicting is significant. And I haven't seen either of these squads drop below 2 or 3 men. I don't think. So Theodosios is not inflicting all of that much bleed in return. As far as their economy, both of them are neck and neck for fuel. Munitions looking similar. PopCap looking kind of similar. Jesulin a little bit behind, but he has very high veterancy, so he makes it up in that regard.
We are losing territory.
And map control situation really hasn't changed all that much. This is the first harassment attempt we've seen in several minutes, and it's going to get pushed away pretty much immediately. I think that they should probably escape. T-3485s are decent counter-harassment units, but unless they get a really lucky hit, they're somewhat unlikely to wipe the squad completely on retreat. Unlike H.E. Sherman's, for example. Heavy mortar prompts a retreat from that Volksgrenadier squad. And the T-34s are kind of disengaging, skirting towards the center. And the Panther is now Vet 1. And it's continuing to try to keep these T-34s at bay. With a little infantry support. unfortunately does not penetrate. T-34 circling wide around the south. Panzer Fusiliers are going to retreat immediately, despite not taking any losses yet. It's just not a favorable engagement, and the two squads of Obersoldaten here moving to defend, cut off. Panther getting repairs. Jesulin continuing to play very conservatively and doing a pretty good job of maintaining map control, but he's kind of losing his hold on the map a little. Soviet player kind of creeping up the bottom right. At the same time, he still hasn't even recaptured his fuel over here, sending his T-34s up there to do some counter-harassment, try and wipe a squad on retreat again. Heavy mortar nails one of those Obersoldaten, and Volksgrenadiers are taking control of the center victory point. The squad of Volksgrenadiers will retreat immediately upon seeing those tanks. Obersoldaten will probably follow suit. What are they doing? What is he doing? There they go. That was a pretty late retreat. I think they'll get away. Oh no, the heavy mortar nailed them on the retreat and he drops the MG34. Oh, that was a big mistake by Jesulin. That squad just died for nothing, and I think at the very least he will be able to recover that MG34. I don't see any Soviet infantry anywhere available to capitalize on that. Other than that flamethrower squad, the Panthers keeping them away. So now this Panzer Fusilier squad is going to be very scary. They have an MG34 and G43s. It's going to be, that's all honestly better than an Obersoldaten squad because they have six models. That's going to be rather difficult for Theodosios to deal with, I think. It's going to be a very, very powerful tool for Jesulin, but it is a shame that he lost that squad of Obers. Second Panther's about to hit the field, which will definitely give Jesulin a brief advantage until the second set of T-34s arrives. And actually, Theodosios is going to have to lose some of his infantry or mortars or something to bring in a second set because he's pop-capped. So until Jesulin actually takes some of this stuff out, he's going to have a significant advantage over his opponent. Because Panthers are just very efficient for their pop cap, honestly. They're 16 pop cap. These are 28. So he has, for only 4 pop cap more than his opponent, he gets 2 Panthers. His opponent gets 2 T-34s. Panthers are definitely pretty strong. They're pretty strong for their pop cap. And I guess the justification is that they're really not that great against infantry. They're still pretty good against infantry, though. Not as good as T-34s, but still pretty good against infantry. T-34s can't be upgraded with machine guns either. The machine gun upgrade on Panthers is 50 munitions. Kind of a lot for OKW, but not something that they can't afford. That second heavy mortar is definitely taking its toll. Squad wipes are, yep, there it goes. They're going to be that much more likely. That's 2 wipes now. 2 squad wipes for Jesulin, none yet for Theodosios as far as I'm aware. Jesulin is getting a Stuka, so he's gone Panther, Panther, Stuka. Pretty safe build. Getting that Stuka third means that he has lots of protection for it. It'll be quite difficult for Theodosios to swarm it the way he swarmed Jesulin's flag half-track with 2 Panthers and 2 Panzer Strikes protecting. I'm almost surprised that Jesulin isn't being really aggressive. As soon as his second Panther hit the field, he definitely had an advantage over his opponent's T-34s. I guess he's just waiting for his opponent to make a mistake, to get aggressive and make a push that he can't afford. I think that's one of Jesulin's biggest strengths, is his patience. Constantly waiting for the right moment and the right opportunity. Because I definitely would not describe Jesulin as a really aggressive player, the way I might describe Cruz. He just seems very cautious. Stuka Stuka on the field, and it is firing somewhere on the heavy mortars. I think he may have fired blind though, because that didn't really hit anything. As soon as he heard that Stuka fire, he went in hard though. T-34 is trying to take out the Panther, but all of the frontal shots are penetrating. He did utilize marked vehicle here, but the damage is being spread quite evenly between both of these tanks. It doesn't look like this is going to go very well for Theo. This Panther is kind of escaping a little bit. That shot just bounced. Panther shot just missed as T-34 went into the base. Everything is retreating here. What's going to happen? Oh, main gun destroyed on the Panther. Oh, no. Keep it going, Jesulin. Oh, I think he could have saved that. One T-34 down, and I really don't see any way for this one to escape. Jesulin will trade 2 T-34s for 1 Panther. Not a very efficient trade for Theodosios at all, especially since this one is now Vet 2. But it's, I mean, he took something out. At least he took out that Panther. It's a shame he didn't kind of prioritize the Stuka a little bit. Stuka would have died very quickly. Jesulin did a good job of kind of maneuvering that in a way that the T-34s wouldn't chase, I guess. But, I don't know. I don't know if I think that engagement went well or not. It's important to keep in mind that Theodosios has the resources for a second set now, and with that other Panther dead, it's not going to be quite as easy to shut down this coming push as it was to shut down the one he just shut down. He still has his 2 Panzerschrecks, which honestly didn't participate that much in that engagement. It's going to be very important for Jesulin to soften these tanks up. Oh no, the AT grenade just penetrated the frontal armor. He needs to get his Panzerschrecks into this engagement right now, or this Panther's going to die and he'll have no way to save it. Oh, it's sitting duck, it's buttoned. Oh no. That Panther is dead. So dead, killed by the guards. There's nothing Jesulin could have done to save that. His Panzerschrecks were not available to support, and now these T-34s are going to have free reign of the battlefield. This Stuka is not likely to survive for long, neither is this Tier 4 structure. This could be the game here.
The enemy has taken out the Y sector. Tanks are now ready for use. Use them to crush the Huns.
T-34 is bleeding these Volksgrenadiers as they attempt to advance. If only they had been there to assist in that engagement with the Panther, they just weren't in position. I mean, look how much damage they're doing without Panther support. If only that Panther were still alive, but it's not. Heavy mortars landing on the Tier 4 structure. T-34 is moving up to finish the job. Jesulin trying to harass some territory over here with his super duper Panzer Fusilier squad. Their MG-34 inflicting massive damage. They've only actually got 11 kills, surprisingly enough. I was kind of expecting them to really dominate once they picked up that weapon, but they're not doing that much. The Tier 4 structure has been destroyed. Volksgrenadiers are reinforcing here, and Jesulin at this point probably hasn't got much of a choice other than to hold out for King Tiger. Or Jagdtiger, I guess. The game is really nowhere near over, but it's gonna be pretty tough for Jesulin to bounce back from this situation. Theodosios pulling back for now and repairing. Probably wants to make a decisive engagement with his tanks while he has this massive lead, but he does need to be careful. That 5 Volksgrenadiers with Shreks are no joke, and okay, sensible decision. We will see a Jagdpanzer fielded next from Jesulin to give himself a little bit of leeway against these heavy medium tanks. And a Jagdpanzer combined with 2 squads of Obersoldat, or well, 1 Obersoldat and then another MG-34, plus Panzerschreck support. I mean, that's still a real army, and this Stuka is still a real threat, although the fact that he keeps firing it blind is he firing it blind? I don't know. He keeps trying to take out both mortars in one barrage. It's not working. He needs to just shoot at one mortar and it keeps missing. And does it even have any kills yet? Apparently, yes, it has 5 kills, but These barrages have just been so off target. He really needs those to connect, and he really needs this not to die. I'm honestly amazed Theodosios hasn't killed that thing yet. Jesulin didn't have the tools to protect it, now he does.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Jagdpanzer moving up to attack over here. He's gonna need to vet that thing up very fast. And he really needs it not to get engine damaged here. Oh god. Be careful. Has to retreat from the fuel with his Volksgrenadiers. Ober's moving up to screen away these conscripts. What is this Jagdpanzer doing? Oh my goodness. He got stuck on the house. Its engine is damaged, but I don't think that the tanks are going to follow up. He should be fine. The Stern Pioneers, unfortunately, are dead. Working on a center victory point now with these Volksgrenadiers. T-34s are going to pull back further for more repairs. And the Jagdpanzer slowly making its way back to the Mechanized Regiment headquarters so it can be repaired. This Stuka really, really needs to start hitting something. Finally. Clears the mortar, brings it to well below half. A well-aimed rocket could probably destroy the weapon entirely. It gets recrewed for now, and I'm not sure if Theodosios has the repair power he needs to repair the actual weapon itself, because he seems to be quite occupied repairing his tanks. Jagdpanzer making its way to the left side. Took a hit from a PTRS, but nothing all that serious. Volksgrenadiers are going to engage them, as well as Vet 5 Obersoldaten over here, which are going to be a significant problem. The Vet 3 Panzer Fusiliers are going to... yeah, they still have that MG34. So Jesulin has a lot of powerful tools in his arsenal right now, and his army is kind of reconstituting itself, getting himself a fresh squad of Volksgrenadiers. He's got this Jagdpanzer here to help protect him. Theodosios is going to have access to a new set of T-34s soon, and once he does, I think he'll probably make another big push and try and trade. As far as victory points, things are still dead even. T-34 going in on the Jagdpanzer's flank. Guards trying to get in range for marked vehicle. Jagdpanzer taking heavy damage. Marked vehicle's gone off. They couldn't button. They're being forced to retreat. Second T-34 on the flank trying to fire. Turret rotation's making it tough. Jagdpanzer looks like it's going to go down here. Engine damage goes off on that T-34, however, thanks to the Panzer Fusilier squad, and the Jagdpanzer finishes it off, and it is destroyed. So one T-34 for one Jagdpanzer. Pretty good trade for Theodosios because he can afford it and Jesulin can't. And that's going to leave Jesulin rather vulnerable once again. Probably should have tried to just send that tank destroyer all the way back to his base if at all possible. He was being a little aggressive with it and it was caught out of position again. His Panzerschreck's just not available to support. He only had one Panzerschreck available for that engagement. Heavy mortar continuing to bombard him. His Panzer Fusiliers will be sufficient to force away those guards, and he's salvaging some tank wrecks here in the center to try and get some spare resources, if at all possible, and the Stuka is going to try and clear that mortar. Wow, that just completely missed, though. It was terrible.
Encroaching on our territory.
Jesulin reinforcing here, and his Stuka is just doing so badly this game. I can't believe how off target these Stuka barrages have been. He would be in so much better of a position if his Stuka barrages would just connect with something. He's only hit once, like really on target, just one time. I'm really curious what Jesulin's going to do next. He's got 127 fuel. If he goes for another Jagdpanzer, he'll have a little bit of pressure relieved. If he waits, he's going to have to contend with potentially 3 T-34s without any vehicles. This is not a good situation for him to be in right now.
The enemy has taken our supply sector. Brave infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
The squad just got wiped somewhere. I don't even know what happened, but okay.
The enemy has cut off a sector. The enemy has our range. You are shooting now. Attack sides.
Vet 5 Oversoldaten are still alive, firing on some Vet 3 guards, making their way towards the center victory point, dodging tank shells and heavy mortars alike. Meanwhile, Volksgrenadiers force a retreat from that heavy mortar. Oversoldaten repositioning into Volksgrenadier supporting range. Gets one Panzerschreck shot off, a few more reinforcing squads here in the base. Jesulin moving his Stuka up into position to fire, and another set of T-34s has arrived. Volksgrenadiers there, I think they threw a grenade, took out a couple of guards. T-34 gets one shot off on the Stuka before being screened away by the Volksgrenadiers. Probably could have finished it off, honestly. I'm really surprised that Stuka is still alive. But it's not going to be for long, judging by the look of things. And Jesulin has gone with another Jagdpanzer. He probably feels as though he doesn't have much choice. But 3 T-34s is a lot of T-34s for one Jagdpanzer to try to take out. This time it looks like it has a pretty decent amount of support though. 2 Panzerschrecks are in supporting range. Jagdpanzer gets a shot off on that T-34 as it's making its way across. There's another shot. T-34, however, is making its way in reverse away from Jesulin's base. There is another Panzerschreck available here to support, but he's not watching his Panzer Fusiliers. He can't afford to lose that squad. I don't know if that's going to get away or not. The Jagdpanzer has gone down, getting swarmed by too many medium tanks. Gets destroyed so easily. These Panzerschrecks were not available to support. But it looks like, fortunately, his Panzer Fusiliers did survive that engagement. But every time Theo trades, he trades more cost-effectively. First he took out one Panther and lost 2 T-34s. Then he took out a Panther and lost 1 T-34. Then he took out a Jagdpanzer and lost 1 T-34. Then he took out another Jagdpanzer and lost nothing. So Jesulin is just falling more and more behind. He can't seem to catch up with all of these tanks. And his Panzerschrecks are the only thing keeping him in this game at this point, sending all 3 of them to try to take out at something, but they are just never around to support these tank destroyers. They're always alone out in the middle of Lankerskaya fields, dying with no help, nobody coming to save them. Volksgrenadiers always seem to be late to the party, and it's because when you get swarmed with marked vehicle and T-34-85s, you have so little time to react. And if your Volksgrenadiers just can't get there in time, then the Jagdpanzer just dies. Fortunately, he kept this squad alive. Very powerful squad. Keeping his opponent's infantry at bay, and his Stuka is still alive as well. He's getting himself some more Volksgrenadiers. He needs more Panzerschrecks, more protection from these T-34s. He hasn't got much of an option here. Panzer Fusiliers get overwhelmed. Oversoldaten will probably be soon to follow, and Jesulin still has his half of the map largely under control. And the T-34s have pulled back for some much needed repairs before making their next big push. And he's been taking out priority targets one by one. Jesulin doesn't have any fuel left. The Stuka is probably going to be next, and after that, just a matter of wiping out infantry squads one at a time. Barrage completely off target again.
Yes, comrade.
although he does force a retreat off the victory point. T-34s have been repaired and are making their way up the right side. That Stuka has got a huge target painted on it right now.
Guard squad ready.
Strikes moving up to protect and support. Looks like they will be able to screen the tanks away from Jesulin Stuka for now. Meanwhile, here on the left side, this T-34 forces the Obers to retreat. A fresh Volksgrenadier squad from Panzerschreck is going to do what it can, but without any veterancy, it's pretty vulnerable. Here comes the support. Turn to fire on that tank. This squad will be forced off the point by heavy mortar fire and conscripts. Jesulin makes a full retreat there, taking too much damage from those T-34s. The squad's reinforcing here in Jesulin's base. Ooh. Jesulin's just taking so much manpower bleed, and he's accomplishing not much of anything, just barely keeping these tanks out of his base. Pulling back for repairs, and they're going to continue to creep up the map, taking control of the center, taking control of the munitions and the fuel. Jesulin losing his hold on everything. Stuka is firing once again. I think he fired completely blind. He didn't really hit anything. A little bit of damage to one conscript squad. Demo charge goes down on the victory point. T-34s bleeding infantry as they advance. Jesulin up to 130 fuel, so he will be able to afford a Jagdpanzer again if he wants one, but he has not been experiencing a whole lot of success with those, so maybe something bigger would make more sense. That is a scary demo charge. Jesulin doesn't have access to Panthers. Ooh, I think he just lost. Yes, he did. There went his MG-34 squad, the Panzer Fusiliers. To that demo, that is painful. Now he has only this squad of Obers to be his real hard counter to infantry, as well as, I guess, his Stuka if it would actually hit anything. And we will have some victory point harassment by that guard squad over there. And this game has just dragged on and on. I can't believe Theodosios hasn't been able to seal the deal. He has such a lead on his opponent, but he's playing very carefully, doesn't want to lose any of his tanks. If they fall low, he pulls back, fully repairs, continues to poke and probe. He's going to win this game slowly but surely. Just keeping himself always ahead in the fuel game, making sure that he doesn't make any mistakes. I mean, just look at the difference in their resources right now. Theodosios can keep on bringing in T-34s. He can afford yet another set, even if these die. Meanwhile, Jesulin is scrabbling to even be able to afford one tank. And every time he fields one, it dies 2 minutes later. And there was a crucial moment where Jesulin got an incredibly lucky main gun destroyed crit on his Panther here, and I feel like if he had just done that engagement a little differently, if he had just microed those tanks slightly differently, it could have ended with him having 2 Panthers and his opponent having nothing. And I feel like that was kind of the turning point of this game. Theodosios capitalized on that moment and hasn't let go of his lead since, and Jesulin is really struggling as a result. But this Stuka completely failing to hit anything for the entire game is definitely helping. By comparison, this heavy mortar has 5 kills and this one has 18. So honestly, for a game on Langer Sky, indirect fire just hasn't really performed that well from either team, for whatever reason. Well, here's the third Jagdpanzer. Here's hoping that this one will do better than the other two. If he can just support it with his 4 Panzerschrecks, I see no reason that it should just instantly die, but we are going to see a pretty big flank here. T-34 coming in from behind. Jagdpanzer playing very safe, keeping back. One T-34 has fallen low, and it will pull back for repairs, not being overzealous in this engagement. A lot of Panzerschreck squads being forced to retreat, since they're falling quite low as well. Jagdpanzer getting a little brave here. It only has 1 Panzerschreck supporting. There's still a lot of T-34s available to take it on. The Stuka fired and only got 1 kill, so I don't even know what it shot at, but didn't really hit anything, as usual. And it's 51 minutes into this game, and it's still 250 to 250. This game shows no sign of ever ending. It is going to be a classic Lakers Sky slugfest. Pretty good game to be opening up the day on, I would say. I'm still fresh. Conscripts going in on this Jagdpanzer. Not quite able to get in range for an AT grenade, and they'll be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, over here, Bugs Grenadiers are going to contend with various Soviet infantry, spreading themselves out to avoid too much bleed from the heavy mortars, and the T-34s are getting repaired here in the back yet again. And this Jagdpanzer's already vet 1 somehow. Must have gotten quite a few shots off on those T-34s. Heavy mortar connects nicely. Those Bugs Grenadiers will probably be forced to retreat. Soldaten will be next. They're vet 5, but they can only do so much against this much infantry. Especially with heavy mortars landing on their head. Stuka is available to fire once again. Squads continue reinforcing in Jesulin's base, and he's getting some fuel and munitions back under his control, but he continues to be way behind. Theodosios now has 1,000 manpower and 400 fuel. Stuka misses again.
The enemy is firing on us.
I honestly cannot believe how badly this Stuka is performing.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory. The enemy has cut off a sector.
Jagdpanzer poking at the T-34s a little bit over there. Jesulin's infantry trying to grab control of the center VP. Looks like they will succeed. There it is. Whoa, T-34 is going in deep on that Stuka, trying to get it to safety. The Jagdpanzer is available here to support, changing targets a little bit. This one will continue to engage the Stuka. It will probably get taken out here. Jagdpanzer is trying to kite these T-34s and doing pretty well. Still has quite high health considering. No Panzerschreck support, still here in the base or retreating. Nothing available anywhere to save him, as usual. Vet 2 now on the Jagdpanzer. May be able to take something out with it. No, did it just hit a mine? I don't know. Either way, Jagdpanzer's destroyed, Stuka's destroyed. Not a single T-34 lost, and Jesulin has just suffered huge losses again. Not that that Stuka was really doing all that much for him anyway. And he is kept in the game only by his extremely scary infantry army. Heavy mortar just wiped unvetted squad, fresh squad of the Panzerschreck. He's going to recover that on a vet 5 squad now. His 1 squad of Obersoldaten being forced away by those T-34s. Thank you so much, Gaddafi, for your generous donation. Now, why didn't it play the noise? I think I heard like a noise, but it was like super quiet. I know I turned it down. I didn't mean to turn it off completely. But thank you. Thank you for your donation very much. Jesulin is dropping assault artillery in this sector, which will force the heavy mortars to reposition a little bit. Grenade going. Oh no! Oh, run! Grenade connects with that squad, but they do make it away by a hair. Heavy mortars falling in this area on these squads. Assault artillery doesn't look like it really hit anything. It's going to retreat that mortar though. And some squads are going to go harass resources over here on the left. Some fresh Volks Grenadiers being cranked out as well to try and help in the center and right. And the victory points are still above 200 for both sides, which just goes to show how incredibly difficult it is to triple cap your opponent on this map. But to be fair, I really think Theodosios could be a lot more aggressive. I mean, yes, unit preservation is one thing, but when you have 1,400 manpower and 500 fuel, I think it's time to start trading a little bit more aggressively. His tank preservation has been impressive, though. There's really no denying that. He's got 2 Vet 2 T-34s and a Vet 3 T-34. That's no joke. That's very solid play from Theo this game.
We are awaiting orders. The enemy is reduced to 200 points. The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Thank you for your donation, Tristan Shuffler. Yes, I don't know if Jesulin's going to be able to adapt his way out of this. He's got a good old-fashioned Panzerschreck blob, but I mean, he's just so behind. He's so behind. And finally, he's about to be triple capped too. Because once those victory points start ticking, it's probably just going to be a matter of time.
Return fire! Infantry, watch for empty weapons.
Still no commitments, still no big engagements, just pulling back, preparing, playing safe. Volks Grenadiers push the tank back, the cycle continues. He's getting control of his victory point back, although, I mean, just look how much victory point bleed in the very small amount of time that he was triple capped. He lost like 40 points. If that continues to happen, the game will end eventually. It's just a matter of time. Ooh, that was a pretty good heavy mortar.
We are bleeding, comrade!
You'll get tier 4 is probably pretty good advice. He should just buy all the tech structures. He's got so much resources. There's not a whole lot of like useful non-PopCap related items you can buy.
Forces capturing supply sector.
But I guess that would be something to spend his resources on, I don't know. if he doesn't want to trade, which I still think he should.
The enemy has cut off a sector. We have an isolated sector.
He died like a hero.
Fourth Jagdpanzer. He's only got 9. Wait, what? Oh yeah, he's only got 9 fuel coming in because he has munitions transfer active to, I guess, allow him to make a lot of Panzerschrecks and possibly also drop artillery. Although I don't think this artillery ability is very good. Here comes a big push. As soon as the Jagdpanzer hits the field, all the Panzerschrecks have to retreat. Jagdpanzer's getting swarmed. Marked vehicle gets thrown on the Jagdpanzer. It's the same thing we've seen 6 times this game already. Well, 3 times this game. I'm exaggerating. Literally 3 times this game. No Panzerschreck support anywhere. All way over here. The Jagdpanzer gets taken out without any losses taken by Theo, and he's just gonna leave now, I guess. Without a scratch, maybe. I don't know. He might lose this one. 1 T-34 down. It looks like Theo is finally going to trade, going in for the crush. No squad wipes yet. Being forced to retreat, however. And that T-34 will also be taken out. Inflicting quite a bit of manpower bleed on Jesulin. But here comes the second set, and he can just suicide this one into Jesulin's base and get himself another one. There is an unending swarm of T-34s on its way. Not a great trade. You really need to try to wipe at least like 1 or 2 Volksgrenadier squads. He didn't really wipe anything, just inflicted manpower bleed. You can see Jesulin's manpower is down to very low after that engagement. But I don't think Theodosios committed as strongly to that as he could have. He wasn't trying to crush all of the infantry with all 3 T-34s simultaneously. He just had one kind of going in at a time. He definitely could have microed the engagement a little bit better, but I mean, his lead is so big right now, it barely matters. Here comes the next big push. All of these infantry retreating simultaneously. There's a lot of potential for the game to be ended right now if these T-34s just crush everything. Go for the crush. He's just sitting there. Assault artillery is falling on the victory point in the midst of this engagement. That T-34 just committed suicide for some reason. Not sure what that was about. Oh man, Theodosios is really struggling just to deal with these Volksgrenadiers.
85 tanks are now ready for use. Use them to crush the Huns.
Oh hey, he went tier 4. Look at that, tier 4, and he's getting himself a Katyusha. Okay, he's adapting to his situation. That's good. I honestly think that those engagements went terribly for him. I was saying he should trade, and I guess he took my advice, and I guess I was wrong. I don't know. I don't know if he microed those engagements as well as he could have, but it didn't work. So he's gonna try Katyusha. Maybe he'll have a little bit more success. He really wants to wipe that squad. He's going for it. Not quite able to seal the deal on that 1-man squad. 2-man squad also retreating. 4-man squad has to retreat. Jesulin continues to bleed and be forced to reinforce. Ved 5 Obersoldaten are still alive. They get away without taking any losses. Uh-oh, here comes the Katyusha barrage though. Doesn't look like that's gonna hit anything, maybe? No, not really. Everything's pretty much still fine. Killed 1 Ober, I guess. Demo charge going down on the victory point. Volksgrenadiers continuing to engage out here. He's got fuel transfer active now, so not too happy with the way assault artillery has been performing for him this game. Doesn't really feel that he needs any more munitions. Switching back to fuel, maybe he's gonna get himself another Jagdpanzer. I don't know. I do not know. Not sure Jesulin saw the demo charge or not. If not, he could lose one of his full squads here, which would definitely hurt.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture.
Yeah, there they go, and they're gone. Pretty solid investment, I would say, utilizing those munitions to try and clear full squads off the map. As long as he can wipe full squads, that's all it takes.
Losing territory.
All it takes. If he just wipes full squads, he will win.
The sector has been
He
cut
still
off.
has a huge economic lead, even after losing how many T-34s.
Supply lines have been
He
cut.
still has 240 fuel in the bank. His map control is waning though. He's losing control of the right half again. And victory points are going to go back in Jesulin's favor after Theo had control of them for quite a while. But he still has 100 points left. Jesulin's situation still isn't that urgent. It's pretty funny that people called GG like 15 minutes in, and now we're at
Our territory
an
is
hour and
falling
7
into our
minutes.
hands.
Jesulin's seemingly behind the whole time, but I guess I'm not really sure.
Keep moving! We are losing now!
I think this is the longest game I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever been in a game that went longer than an hour and 7 minutes. Especially between like Jesulin and somebody else. I've never seen Jesulin in an hour and 8 minutes slugfest before. I mean, I've never seen anybody in a game this long, but wow. Katusha moving up to fire. If it can get some squad wipes, that'll be huge. Here it comes. No lucky hits on the first volley. Doesn't really look like it's gonna hit anything. Kills one Volksgrenadier. Over here, T-34 is trying to wipe a squad on retreat, missing all their shots. He could probably jump into Jesulin's base and destroy both of these structures to at least stop him from making further Jagdpanzers and turn off his ability to fuel transfer. I mean, these things are both practically dead, but I guess he's being screened pretty hard by this group of Volksgrenadiers here. Ooh, Oversoldat almost got wiped right there by heavy mortar fire. SWS half-track over here. I don't know what that's about, but okay.
Over there! Here they come!
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Fucking hell!
We need to re-establish our supply lines.
Slugging it out for the center victory point. Vet 5 Volksgrenadiers doing okay, other than the heavy mortars smashing into them. Volksgrenadiers moving up to screen away the T-34s. The Jagdpanzer is on the field. Will he be able to keep this one alive? I guess we'll find out.
Comrades!
He has since fielded a fresh Volksgrenadier squad to replace the one he lost to that demo charge. Katusha is firing and is not in his base in the center. Doesn't look like it did all that much. Man, indirect fire is really struggling to accomplish anything this game. Jagdpanzer moving across the right side with Volksgrenadier support. These structures are so close to being taken down. He doesn't even have stern pioneers. He has no way to repair those at all. He doesn't really even have a way to repair this other than his mechanized regiment headquarters. Not that repairs are something he ever has needed, because every single time his tanks get into an engagement they die. It's basically one big Panzerfaust. A one-shot weapon. Pretty expensive Panzerfaust.
This piece of dirt is ours now.
Oh man, continuing to duke it out for the center. Grenade goes off on the Volksgrenadiers there, forcing them away from the point. They are ticking down. He's got 80 left. Needs to get it under control. Soviet infantry is a lot to chew through here. Obersoldaten moving up into the point. Heavy mortars continue to bleed them and force retreats. The Jagdpanzer falls a little bit low and needs to pull back for repairs as well. T-34s look like they may go in hard, trying to get control of the center VP. He does finally force a retreat from what various infantry is there, and is slowly taking it back. The T-34s are about to make a big push up the right side. The Jagdpanzer is being repaired, and this is now an hour and 12-minute game. Good God. This is ridiculous. Two-ship fires on the center. Jagdpanzer firing on the T-34s over there. And Theodosios is at 100 of 100 pop cap. He has a million, zillion, billion resources. He can infinitely replace his army. Jesulin seemingly hanging on by a thread this whole time. I honestly don't know how this game has lasted this long. Grenade goes off. Connects quite well. Heavy mortar also connects well. Squad will have to retreat. More squads moving up into the meat grinder. And the victory points are not moving. Oh man, Theo really needs to try to harass this point, which apparently is not easy, but I mean, Jesulin doesn't actually have that much anti-infantry, other than this super... other than his 97 kill Obersoldaten squad. Other than that, he doesn't have that much anti-infantry. Volks are hard to kill, but they take their fair share of time to kill his opponent's infantry as well. I'm actually surprised this Jagdpanzer's still alive. Oh, concentrated barrage almost wipes those overs. He really wanted to kill those for good reason, but it didn't quite connect. That was a shame. Volksgrenadiers trying to hold the point. It's going to be a long, hard road for Jesulin if he actually wants to win this game. There's still 215 points on the board for the Soviets. If Jesulin were to win this, it would be another like 20 minutes of this. I feel like the whole rest of the tournament is going to be over by the time this game is. Ooh, that wasn't good. That was not good at all. Marked vehicle goes off on the Jagdpanzer. He's only got one T-34 here, and there's a lot of Panzerschrecks protecting. Oh man, I'm not sure if I can even believe what I'm currently witnessing. It almost looks like Jesulin is about to be winning this game. I don't know, is that possible? Is that even possible? Look at Theodosios' resources. Even Jesulin can't turn this game around. I don't think so.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Right? Am I crazy?
Contact with the enemy!
What is happening? Continues engaging for the center. Heavy mortars continue landing. How many kills did these have? 30 and 48. Wow. Folks Grenadiers making their way towards the middle with oversold out in support. And the points will take against Jesulin again, now falling just below 70. Reinforcing in his base. Some squads grabbing territory over here. Theodosios continues to have a huge lead. At this rate, he will win in like a while. But he really needs to get some harassment done over here, and he really needs to just finish this game. Ooh, what was that? Concentrated barrage just wiped a squad on something. I think that was Folks Grenadiers. Yeah. Right? Yeah, okay. He just made a fresh squad as well. A second Katyusha has been fielded to wipe some stuff over here. I'm kind of worried though that if he overinvests in his pop cap into Katyushas, he won't have T-34s anymore. He's only got one T-34, and I understand that he wants to wipe these infantry squads, but I mean, that Jagdpanzer is going to become a very real threat if he just builds nothing but Katyushas.
Over there! Here they come!
Molotov is off target. Grenade forces the guards there to retreat. Fresh Folks Grenadiers moving up to replace the dead ones. Oh man. Folks Grenadiers there will be forced to retreat. T-34s. Or one T-34. Oh! Heavy mortar just wiped the squad. Alright, I don't know, maybe Katyushas were a good call. Once you have enough indirect fire, you can only take so much. He's down now to only 3 squads of Folks Grenadiers. And his oversoldon, he's making fresh ones, but fresh Folks Grenadiers are not nearly as useful as those Vet 5 monsters are. Katyusha firing again in the base. Oh, and there goes another one. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is over. I'm pretty sure this is over. He just needs to... Alright, the infantry is pretty much all dead. Just get the victory points and end this game. It's going on 1 hour and 20 minutes now. The battle group headquarters is dead. He can't even heal the fresh squads. The vetted ones will heal on their own. The Jagdpanzer are getting brave. It has no choice. He has to try and kill those Katyushas, and there won't be anything he can do. Folks Grenadiers looking for him. He's hunting. He might be able to find this one. I don't know if he's gonna get the second Shrek off though. Doesn't really look like it. Oh, and in his greed he gets punished. Guards wipe the squad with a grenade. Only one Vet 5 Folks Grenadier squad remains. It's all falling apart. It's all falling apart for Jesulin. In the critical final moments of the game, it is Theodosios who is executing.
The territory is in our hands.
Oh man.
Look out! Grenades! Germans on the attack! Here, comrade!
And Jesulin has 230 fuel. If only he had kept all of his vet squads alive for just a little longer, he would have such a scary army supporting potentially a King Tiger and a Jagdpanzer. Now he's got basically no infantry left. I don't think he could win this. In 1 minute the King Tiger will get here, but without any infantry supporting it, I don't think I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But another squad of infantry just got wiped. He's operating on only one squad of infantry. How many kills does this Obersoldaten squad have anyway? 107. Made it into 3 digits. Good for you, Theodosios, capturing that victory point. Thank you. Finally, Jesulin will be triple capped. He's only got 1 squad of infantry with which to do anything about that. The Jagdpanzer is just driving straight into the base. Now that the T-34 is not alive to punish him, but here comes the second set. Because he has the resources for T-34s innumerable. He has triple capped his opponent over here, although one-man Obersoldaten army is forcing them to retreat. He's slowly making his way towards the points. Bleeding points fast, though. Here comes the King Tiger. It's in production. I think it might make it to the battlefield. It might. Meanwhile, Jagdpanzer. This one actually did okay. This one killed some stuff, but it gets taken out as well. And Katyusha was able to evade it.
The enemy is down to 25
Wow.
points. Victory is in our grasp.
Wow. I mean, I was ready to cast some games today, but I don't think anything could have prepared me. The very first game of the series is already just this ridiculous, crazy slugfest. I feel like Love Nest and Crazy Man probably played their whole series already. It's an hour and a half almost for one game. Don't these players know to pace themselves? They've got semifinals to play after this. I would have just surrendered. I would have just surrendered 45 minutes ago. I would have been like, okay, my brain can't handle this. I need to keep myself fresh and alert. How the fuck am I going to play the rest of this tournament? Some emergency Panzer Fusiliers being fielded. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's even possible for Jesulin to win. He's not going to be able to kill this stuff. Game's over. Game's over. He's going to lose the 3rd victory point. Nice try. King Tiger at least hits the field. Wow, Jesulin, I am amazed that you were able to drag this game out this long against this in the situation you were in. Giving you credit, I thought you were in an unwinnable game an hour ago, and I guess I was right. But you made me doubt myself. No doubt about that. Okay, good game. Let's jump into the next one.